This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Also that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams Labor Day sale and get 35% off paints and stains August 22nd through September 4th. With prices starting at $31.84, it's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your interior or exterior, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store or shop the sale online. Delivery available on qualifying orders. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Yeah. You gotta work. You gotta work, grind, shine, it's mine. Gotta show everybody it's my time. Getting here, you gotta work, grind, shine. Never mind who talking down.
Welcome to Let's Talk with Carl Lee and frequent guest hosts Hollis Lewis and Lisa Otey, where sports, culture, and community intersect. Join the crew as they dive into engaging conversations with guests from all walks of the sports life. Let's Talk is proudly presented by attorney Frank Walker. Real talk, real experience, real results. FrankWalkerLaw.com. And by the all-new historic Coyer Diner in downtown Charleston. Online at CoyerDiner.com. Let the conversation begin on Let's Talk.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Carl Lee with Let's Talk, and I have in the building, I have Hollis Lewis as my co-host, and Lisa Otey, the football queen. She's here also. So, gentlemen and lady, one of the interesting things that I have about this particular show is we have tried to figure out exactly what we wanted to do and how we wanted to do it.
And y'all not listening to me.
No, we're not. We're definitely not trying to listen to you. And hopefully, we're going to have Coach Donnie Mays on.
Yeah.
And obviously he's finishing up practice. But one of the things, because I get this question all the time. Like, who is your favorite team? Okay, so the automatic thing requires me to say the Vikings. And when I think about the Vikings and my favorite team, I go back as a child, I was a Browns fan. Mm-hmm. And I was a Browns fan because that's, for the most part, that's all that you got to see was, the Browns, maybe Cincinnati, maybe Pittsburgh, but for whatever it was always going to be, for me, it was always the Browns. And I can remember Paul Warfield, Leroy Kelly, just all of those old school names. And so it made me think, like, what makes you get, or what has caused you to want to have that team as your favorite team? And I know Hollis is kind of like leaning already, like he already knows. So I'm gonna make him have to hold that, Lisa. And I already kind of know where you're going. But I'm curious I'm curious to find out who is your favorite professional football team and why? How did you get there? A good story about how you got there.
I don't know I can't pinpoint the exact moment. I was probably 12 or 13 years old and, watched the Steelers a lot. A lot of my friends were Steelers fans, as they still are today. But it was the Packers that did it for me. I don't know. I like the tradition. I liked the fact that they have this history behind them. I've been to Lambeau Field. It's amazing. I like the fact that there's not one specific owner, that the fans own the team.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
It's just a cluster of things that made me become a Packer fan. But and they always have good quarterbacks. They do.
See,
and now they have good defensive line.
Oh, now we can go right there if we want to, Hollis.
see, part of this, I would like to think, that the two of you all and myself have been friends for a long time. That there'd be some kind of way that there'd be like a piece of you like saying like, well, I do like the Vikings.
I don't mind the Vikings.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, it didn't.
No. I grew up a 49ers fan, and I think it was two parts, right? They were good at the time when I first started like watching and getting involved with football, and then through like football and baseball and basketball card collecting.
Oh yeah.
So when I was little,
that was
huge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think we came up in an age where ESPN was just starting. So at that point, like I remember like in 4th grade, like I don't know if it was like all the boys in the class did it, but like it was at that point in which we all just like designated our team. Like, okay, you got to pick your team now, right? So I think of a combination of things, and I like, to your point, quarterbacks, Joe Montana,
right.
Jerry Rice was just super cool to me. So as a 49er
that's
fan,
personal. That has a little has a little feel to me over here.
Yeah,
this might be your last show.
Yeah, man. So,
Hollis, we're always being fired
know, right?
every show. I mean, I don't understand it.
But yeah, it was. I think it was just that was it. Like it was Magic Johnson. He had the flair, right?
Right.
In Cincinnati Red, because I liked Eric Davis and Sabo and those guys. So it was a combination of who was good at the time that I started watching and getting involved in sports, and then sports card collecting. So I was like, it's a combination of the three.
So, question to your team and your excitement for it. Do you have a moment when you were like, that's it, I'm done with them?
Oh.
Or is that something that you do? Is that something that's a regular?
I've got a huge moment.
Yeah.
Like I think it was a couple years ago when the Pack was in the. Well, they actually they were in the playoffs, and if they would have won the game, they would have gone. I think it was the NFC Championship. They played the 49ers. That was the NFC Championship a couple years ago, right? When they lost by a field goal.
Yeah.
Oh, kids, I was beyond crushed. Like the next day I get up out of bed and I take my cheese head and all my Packer stuff and I put it in a trash bag.
Wow.
And I took it to the trash can. And luckily my husband Jerry was watching through the window and he went and he saved it for me, because after I got over it I was like, oh my gosh, I threw my stuff away, But no, that for me, that was just because I thought this is the only opportunity they're ever going to get that close to the Super Bowl again. Boy, I think I was wrong, because I think this year might be their year.
Yeah, I think for me it was like the whole Kaepernick thing, being a 49ers fan. Like, particularly we had just won the Super Bowl, and then, the thing happened with Kaepernick, and I am a huge Jim Harbaugh fan. He's one of the best coaches in football to me. Mm-hmm. Like everywhere he goes, he wins. Everywhere he goes, he's improving your quarterback situation, from San Diego State to, San Diego now to Michigan to 49ers to Stanford. Everywhere that dude goes, he wins. And I like the way and the style in which he coaches. I think it's very, he gets the most out of his teams and players. And wherever he goes, if you notice, he always leaves the program better than he finds it. So after those two things, I was like just done with the Niners. And I'm not really, I still like him, but I'm more of just a general fan. And I would never, I'm a Laker for life. So
we know that.
I am a Laker. They can never ever do anything to make me turn in those colors. But it was kind of a combination of the Cap and Jim Harbaugh thing.
Mm-hmm.
And see, and I was a Browns fan, pretty much because that was my dad's team, and so. I grew up and I was always, and I can remember tons and tons of time crying because they lost, right?
Wow.
Like, I mean, I'm like it was
a big deal.
It was a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, and the Browns were good, and, a loss was like devastating to me. But as I got older, by the time I got to Marshall, I kind of got away from really watching it. Mm-hmm. And actually, because I was playing it at a college level, and I didn't have to, it was like almost, I felt like it was almost too much football for me.
Mm. Yeah.
And so then,
You just didn't have time for it.
I really didn't have time for it. And then once I actually get drafted, I get to Minnesota, and I go through that time span. And then when I come back, like, I'm still trying to figure out, like, am I supposed to be a Viking fan, a diehard Viking fan because I played for them? Am I supposed to be a diehard Marshall fan because I played for them? Am I supposed to be a diehard South Charleston fan because I played for them? Do you guys think that you should have to be locked into the team that you played for, or is there opportunity to be for something else?
Nah, dude, you're a Viking. I mean, if you were like one of those, it was talking about a quarterback. I forget his name is Johnson. Like, he's played for like 10 different teams, so for him it's like whatever. But I think for you, yeah, he literally played for 10 different teams, so he probably can just go bad. But no, but he's good. He's 39. He's been in the league for almost 20 plus years. But for you, because you had such a storied career, you were there for what, like 11 years.
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
You spent most of your career.
Yeah,
it's like
all but one.
Yeah, so you're a Viking, man. So it's like you ain't got to turn the corner.
I mean, I don't wish Vikings anything negative, but I don't.
You sure do Packers.
Well, of course. that is because of the Viking in me. I can't accept.
So you are a Vikings fan.
I can't accept. I would never be happy. One, between you and Sterling, there's no way that I could ever really root for the Packers. That could never happen.
And now we have a reason maybe you shouldn't root for the Packers, because they have Micah Parsons. So what and again, you have said, far as in negotiating with general managers, you kind of said in past shows how difficult it is and different things of that nature. Now, I want to ask you something about this trade, because one of the things that Jerry Jones said is that this is going to be like the second quote unquote Herschel Walker trade. Now, they got for Micah Parsons, they got 2 first-round draft picks. They saved money, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
Is 2 first-round draft picks, the ability to sign more players, do you think it could have the same impact as the Herschel Walker trade?
Yes.
You think so?
Yeah. Here's the thing. Well, let me ask you this question. I'll ask you both this question. How are you viewing the Herschel Walker trade?
I mean, it was the reason why the Cowboys won 3 Super Bowls.
Okay. I give you that.
They got all the players and pieces.
Okay. I think that it makes no sense to build another team in a trade like that, because really what you're doing is you're helping that team become a Super Bowl
especially
contender.
A rival.
Yes, a rival.
Are you saying the Packers are helping the Cowboys, or the Cowboys are helping the Packers?
Whoever's sending the number of players, okay? You're getting right now talent. Draft picks is not a guarantee.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. You can't guarantee.
You don't know what you're going to get.
You have no clue what you're going to get.
And Mike is young.
Yeah, and the thing with the Cowboys, to me, with Micah Parsons, with Dak, with CeeDee Lamb, with all the pieces that it seemed like they were ready to win now. And now you send that to the Packers, who might be ready to win now.
Yeah, but so here's a question I want to throw out to you guys, because I don't know anything. So when they traded Micah, he wasn't practicing with the team due to back issues,
quote unquote.
Yeah. But now they're saying that he's in Green Bay, of course, and he's practicing, and he's supposed to get like injections.
Yeah.
So maybe there is some truth to the rumors about his back. I mean, doesn't the team give a physical? Don't they have to do a thorough physical before they do any kind of trade?
Yeah, they do. But let's be honest, the truth. We can never really get to the truth.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because it's Jerry Jones?
Not even because of that. It's just the league.
Yeah.
You're going to get part of the story, or the best part of the story that the story that they feel is the best way. To your point, Hollis, again about a team that we were right there.
You talking about the Vikings? For the Vikings?
Yes, when we went and made the Herschel Walker trade. We were right there.
Okay, what pieces did y'all? Can you remember the pieces that y'all gave up that really hurt y'all?
We gave up 3 linebackers, all starters. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Ooh.
3.
So hold on. You gave up 3 linebackers?
Starters.
Wow.
So is this like your middle strong and weak, or
it was strong, weak, and we had one that was with the we played a 4-3. So we had 2 outside. Mm-hmm. And we had 1 for inside. So one of our inside and our 2 outside guys.
You gave up y'all core?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
We gave up a corner who is the guy that I've talked to before. You guys have heard me say who I thought was the best corner I've ever seen. They got rid of him as well. And he was the nickel guy. He was a starter and then was a nickel guy also for us. You got rid of him. Mm-hmm. I mean, so you're talking about like we gave up starters.
And see, this is why I wanted to have the conversation because you were there. Like you were there to like.
So do you?
He made, and I can remember the first day walking into the locker room and seeing Herschel's locker and him there at his locker. Okay, so naturally you want to be cordial because like I'm like thinking like you're banking on this guy to take us over the hump. Well, we're already over the hump.
And how many years deep were you in at this time?
I'm in 80, 45, 86. I think it was like around 87 or so. So I'm
about 5 years.
Yeah, about 5 or 6 years in. I'm
and
good.
This is from what you're saying. Like this is your chance to like y'all gonna go.
Bro, we there.
You were already there.
We're looking at this and we're thinking we are there.
But when you trade your starters, I mean, you got to have a supporting cast. You can't just have the star.
Mike Lynn was the general manager at the time.
Linebackers too.
And
that's
I mean,
crazy.
Darren Nelson, who was a multiple threat in the backfield, they got rid of him. I mean, it was
so they got rid of your starting 3 linebackers or guys who played. They got rid of your nickel corner, and they got rid of your running back
and a running back. And there's somebody else in that. There's
just
somebody
for
else
one
in that
player.
Yeah, yes.
That's like your core, your team.
Yeah,
like that's
exactly.
like you might as well just throw in the quarterback.
Everything that was important, we gave up. And you know what, Dallas?
So how do you expect?
And Dallas got rid of all of them when they went to Dallas. Dallas cut them. They wanted all they cared about was the draft picks.
And y'all gave up draft picks.
Yes.
So y'all gave up like
players,
essentially 5 starters and draft picks.
Yes.
So yeah, this ain't like the. This ain't
it's not even close.
This was. I mean, I'm telling you, this was like, and my name had come up in as a possibility of being part of that trade, but again. For us, we were right there.
Yeah.
Like we're coming off the NFC Championship game.
Oh, so the year before the trade.
Yes. We do this after that game, after us making a huge run, and then we're gonna I guess what the thoughts were, we can get rid of all these players, and if we get Herschel, that'll take us over the top.
How do you do that with your? I mean,
without your team.
Without your team,
he can't go out there by himself.
So let me ask you: Does the Micah Parsons trade to the Packers make the Packers a Super Bowl contender?
I think it increases their chances immensely. And here's what I think. And this is my opinion of it. Last year, the Green Bay Packers, they were the youngest team in the NFL, right? And they got a lot of experience last year going to the playoffs. You know, they've got that under their belt now. And also, in all fairness, you know, Jordan Love's a good quarterback, but he was hurt most of the season last year. He struggled all year with some kind of a groin injury on and off and then other things. And, you know, if they can keep him healthy and Micah Parsons is healthy, which, you know, like I said, there's always those rumors about the back issues. I think they have a legitimate shot at least winning the NFC North.
Wow. So let me ask you this. Like, what is up with, like, owners and general managers, like, giving up prime talent? Like, you look at Luka, gone.
Money.
You look at Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau got that team, New York Knicks, in the playoffs. Gone. Michael Parsons, gone.
It's all money.
But they're paying other people. Like, why?
Back in our day, so you get rid of all of those paychecks and you drop it all into Herschel's.
That's insane.
You drop it off into his pocket.
But it ain't money then. How is it money if you spending the money?
Because the idea is he's the guy. He's gonna be the guy that's gonna take you. Now, first day of practice is always a must do, right? Like you got to come out, you got to show something. Mm-hmm. And bro, I'm watching him. Now, could he run me? If it's me and him in a tackle drill, he's probably going to run over me. he's standing straight up. He's like running on his like tippy toes, and he ain't really like bending his feet, not bending his knees or nothing. And I'm like, well, how's he gonna, super fast, super big,
He's big and fast.
Yeah.
but he ain't the guy. Like he ain't gonna break no tackles.
What was your record that first year that he was
had no
with
win.
you?
I
mean, you didn't make the Super Bowl,
No, we went. No, we lost in the NFC Championship game.
but you did make the NFC Championship game with him. But you'd done that the year before.
No,
without
we had
him.
done that before that.
Oh,
before
I'm
him.
saying the year you had
after.
him. Yeah.
Nothing. I don't even know if we made. I don't even know if we got through the first round of the playoffs.
Oh wow. Okay.
If we even got there. My memory's horrible, so all the listeners, just so that you know
Somebody
that.
Google it.
Yeah, somebody will have to Google that.
Well,
but it was.
So it wasn't worth it. How long was he with you guys?
Maybe 2 years, maybe. He didn't. I mean, you're looking at lockers and guys that you knew what they could do. You knew how well they played, and we were part of a team. And all of a sudden, a general manager makes this decision out of the blue.
Right. And cuts half your team.
And cuts half the team. Or trades them away. And eventually, like I said, when they went to Dallas.
So that was the beginning of the end for you guys, right?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah,
What year was that? What year was that?
89.
89?
And he played in 11 games and had 669 yards. He averaged 4 carries a game and had 5 touchdowns.
Not worth it.
The record.
And what do you say to that? Like,
yeah, I mean, you don't. I mean, I guess every time the NFL, these teams make a trade, it's a gamble. I mean, it's a roll of the dice. You don't know for sure. Look, we don't know what Aaron Rodgers is going to do for the Steelers. There's a lot of hype with that going on. With Micah Parsons coming to us, I think it's a good trade. But we did lose, I think, Kenny Clark. Look. Just somebody could Google that, but we had to give up one of our starting players. We did give up one with the first round draft picks. Maybe somebody on here can come in.
And I really do think that draft picks are gambles.
Yeah,
but it's a gamble worth taking.
Yeah.
When to me at that point in time, Herschel had not done what had he done to be worthy of draft picks and
he was on
players.
Super Bowl teams in Dallas, right?
No.
Oh, okay. I got that information wrong.
No.
Okay.
They were pretty bad.
I don't think he had done anything spectacular.
The first year, him with the Minnesota Vikings, you guys were 10-6, and you lost in the first. You won the NFC Central Division, but you guys lost in the first round to the 49ers.
Oh. Hollis was probably cheering for the 49ers at that time.
I'm sure he watched that game.
Oh gosh, that's crazy.
But just for you, Hollis, just to make you. Just to bring you down just a little bit because you wanted to make sure.
But you made the Pro Bowl that year.
Okay, I appreciate that.
I'm doing you up a little bit.
I'm looking for the team part of this. Supposedly, when the 49ers was the best team ever, that's the year that we beat them. Just in case,
What year was that?
That was the year before.
88. Who won the championship in 88?
They did.
Huh?
They didn't win the Super Bowl.
We didn't win it in 88?
Again, my years are all messed up.
88.
My years are all messed up. But the year that we beat them, they were considered one of the best teams in the league.
That's
just
craziness.
just so you know.
Yeah, okay.
What about the whole year?
And we did shut him down. You can go look up his stats if you want.
Oh no, that was I'm sorry, that was the Redskins. I should have known that.
Oh,
with Doug Williams.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Have you guys had a chance? This is tis the season for power rankings in the NFL. Have you guys looked at any? It's kind of like, and you guys correct me completely if I'm wrong. So the NFL really doesn't do like official power rankings. It's more like your media outlets like CBS and Fox, and their like correspondents go and they give their picks. And I came across some today, and I just thought I'd maybe share a couple of them. And then just
I'm
our
going to
favorite
assume
teams.
that I'm just going to assume.
So we've got the 49ers coming in at, and basically I looked at several power rankings from different media outlets. They were all pretty close, give or take a couple spaces. So we've got the 49ers coming in at number 9. That's not bad. You might have a good year.
Might.
But we have the Vikings coming in 14. So kind of middle of the pack. Speaking of pack, we have the Packers at number 4. And this was CBS's Pete Prisco, I think is his name. He's their correspondent for the NFL. So let me tell you, it went further. I read the whole article.
I'm sure you did.
Once I saw that, it kind of piqued my interest. So his pick for the Super Bowl.
You can't. You look. She's so excited. If the listeners could see her.
Oh, they can. I'm live.
Yeah, she is so excited.
Well, I was excited for part of it and then not part of it. But he feels like this is going to be the year for a Bills-Packers Super Bowl with the Bills winning it all.
Wow.
And he's a pretty but he says now this is if everybody stays healthy.
Yeah.
Josh Allen's got to stay healthy. Same with Jordan Love. I don't know. I feel good about this team.
I mean, I think. I don't. I think that's true. But I would definitely have the Eagles up there. I'm going quarterback. I would have Ravens
the
up
Eagles
there.
are number 1 in most everybody's
I would
polls.
have the Chiefs up there.
Yep.
I'm telling you, I'm going to have, if everybody can stay healthy, I would have San Diego up there. I think Jim Harbaugh, he's proven that you give him a couple years, year 2, dramatic improvements happen. So I would be looking for the San Diego Chargers up there. Yeah, and I would be looking, if Micah Parsons can stay on that field, you got to get a Packers something, because, I mean, that's a legitimate, 11 to maybe 15 sacks. That changes the complexity of what you do offensively.
That's what they needed.
And if Jordan Love can stay healthy, I mean, you got to put the Pack up there. And, hopefully, I mean, I don't know what, because I'm kind of semi-rooting for the Bengals, but, if we can get an offensive line to protect a little bit, then
they were around 11 in most of them.
See, to those rankings, I think teams that are, I think it's difficult for teams that are ranked or has the expectation to be the Super Bowl team. I think they have
pressure,
a lot of pressure.
I think as soon as Micah walked through the door, they had pressure.
Well, yeah, because you can't falling short. And you play and you lose in the NFC Championship game, that's not falling short.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you did a lot. I mean, you had to beat a lot of teams if you got to that point.
Right.
But people see that as like, oh, they didn't make it.
We had that conversation before, talking about the Steelers. Like, it's different types of fan bases. The fan bases of the Chiefs, if they don't win the Super Bowl, it's been a bad year.
Yeah.
If you're a Giants fan and you make the playoffs, woohoo! I mean, it's all about.
And you're looking forward to next season.
I think you mentioned the Steelers too. I mean, I'm not necessarily the biggest Aaron Rodgers fan, but I think he's coming back with something to prove.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Steelers, they already have a solid organization. From what everybody said, they were a quarterback away. So I think he's going to come back with a vengeance, barring that he can stay healthy. So that might be
that's the key right there.
There's the key.
And that really is the key for almost every team.
Yes.
Once your quarterback
but
he's older.
But Aaron,
he can't take no hits.
He's not going to be able to. You've got to protect him because he can't get out of the pocket.
Yeah.
So he's a standing target. Teams are going to know it. What are they going to do? We're going to blitz you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if you blitz him.
If
he's going to pick you apart. Because he got that quick release. He got that. He still got that quick release. And he's sitting in the gun. I think you have to zone scheme him. You got to come up with some razzle dazzle.
No, I think if you again, we're getting technical, but I don't think playing zone against him, I think that's where he can pick you apart.
Well, I mean, like zone, and then you like maybe showing zone, you go to man, you show man,
anything
go to
like
zone.
Yeah. You got to give him some
like clouds.
You got to play with him. You got to play with him a little bit for sure. I
don't mean it's like a straight up zone. You gonna get dinged and up.
Yeah.
And at the bottom of the list, guys, let's go there. Let's just see who's hanging around at the end. Got the Saints at number 32 and Browns 31. Yeah. And those two kind of were interchanged in different. And just,
what it
they
is.
just can't, especially the Browns. I mean, I like the Browns. I don't mind the Browns.
I grew up like a die hard. Like I'm crying when they lose.
Know.
And it amazes me to the point of like how how have you gone this far down and just you're staying there?
And they've tried so many different things with, the draft and trading players, and they still can't get out of that.
Yeah, I just don't. To me, when again, and I'm definitely novice, just kind of watching from the sidelines, but it just seems like the good organizations, they build sort of from the ground up. So they don't go necessarily for flash. They'll start with those offensive linemen. They'll start with those defensive linemen, the non-flashy positions. They'll establish that foundation and then just build out slowly and steadily. Where it just, hell, excuse me, the Browns had five. Well, they had 5 quarterbacks in camp. It's just you're going to draft a quarterback in the 3rd round and you draft a quarterback in the 5th round. It's just like, man, you're not serious.
Well, to your point, look at Kansas City. Nobody was watching Kansas City as Kansas City was building.
Facts. That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying?
It was kind of like they were sneaky.
Yeah, they were just
They
did.
Yeah.
They were
slowly got better.
Year in and year out. They get this guy, and then all of a sudden, you're like looking at him, and you're like, oh my gosh, who can beat them? Where did they get that quarterback from?
And that's what I'm saying. GMs, and coaching matters. Like, it matters. I think when you look at good organizations, you always have a good GM and a good coach associated, or just a dynamic quarterback like a Brady. Even like what Tampa Bay's doing. I think Tampa Bay's they may not win the Super Bowl, but they're going to be in the mix in the NFC South. So, I don't know, man.
And I think to your GM conversation, I can validate that.
Ravens too. You always can't count the Ravens out.
Facts.
When you start talking about a GM, and you've got to have a GM that players are, everybody's not going to get the contract that they want.
Yeah.
But for the most part, the team is going to be happy because the players are going in, getting the contracts, getting back out on the field. You might have 1 or 2, but you can't have a general manager where that guys are talking about in the locker room. Like, hey, the Vikings with Mike Lynn. Like, nobody wanted to even deal with him on a contract.
Right.
Because he was just so, like, when you say to somebody, if you don't like this contract, you can go drive a bus.
Yeah.
Like, and I've said that before, so when you ask the
Jerry
question,
Jones told Mike Parsons?
Maybe
that's what he did.
But when you
he kept calling him Michael. Did you see the press conference? And he kept calling him Michael. Come on.
When you have that kind of GM, it's hard to win because your players are holding on to the fight that you had for the contract, the words that the GM's saying. Like, why is he even talking? You know what I'm saying? Like, back in the day, it wasn't like GMs had a lot of space to talk. But Mike Lynn would steal it just purposely to say something stupid just for the players to dislike him even more. Because I really felt like he was the kind of guy that didn't want you to actually like him. And I think that's
so he doesn't get a Christmas card from you. Is that what you're saying?
No. God rest his soul, but no.
Yeah.
It was
even then.
Yeah. It was just a bad situation. That I think most of the players felt that the worst thing of professional football was to have to go in and meet with Mike Lynn and try to get a deal. That was the worst. That was the worst part of it. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break and we will be right back.
All right, cats and kittens, have you heard? The Quarrier Diner is back. Step into the classic vibe of one of Charleston's most historic restaurants. Don't miss the daily Blue Plate specials. Breakfast served all day, every day, and free parking. With an outdoor patio covered for the summer, an elegant basement bar, and customizable event space, 1022 Quarrier Street offers an experience unlike any other. Open 7 days a week, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit QuarrierDiner.com for all the need to know and relive the good times at the Quarrier Diner.
Let's face it, bad things happen to good people. Seriously injured in a car accident, trucking accident, or even wrongfully arrested. Life happens, and when it happens to you, you will need sound legal advice and aggressive representation. That's when you call attorney Frank Walker at 304-413-0179. That's 304-413-0179. Lock it in your phone, text it to a friend. 304-413-0179. Or visit online at attorneyfrankwalker.com.
Let's Talk with Carl Lee is presented by attorney Frank Walker and the all-new historic Coyer Diner. Come in on episodes, ask the crew questions, or suggest topics on our Facebook page. Search for Let's Talk with Carl Lee and remember to like the page to become part of the conversation. Subscribe by searching Let's Talk with Carl Lee on your favorite podcast service and tune in Thursday evenings at 7 or Sunday nights at 8 for Let's Talk with Carl Lee. This is Let's Talk with Carl Lee. Now, back to the conversation.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. And I'm for the first time, I guess I got a chance to have basically almost a half a show talking about the Vikings.
That was good.
And it was good because you had a perspective, just like I said, because you were there during the first quote unquote Herschel Walker trade. Now we're in Herschel Walker number 2. So.
It was cathartic for you, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yes. Lisa, you have something for us now.
Oh, I wanted to touch on opening week of college football. It was like a highlight reel. I mean, it was everything you wanted and then some. Mm-hmm. There was something for everybody. You had close games, you had upsets, you had outside of the game, you had the Lee Corso, his final college game day show, Bill Belichick coming out for his first game since NFL. I mean, it was just so much stuff. It was a great opening weekend. So maybe we could just start with our local teams because we had two big games going on with WVU and Marshall. And I'll just throw this out here to you guys. But, I just felt like, let's start with WVU. They looked the second half like they're going to have a decent season. Now, the first half, they had the fumbles. They had like 3 fumbles. Once they worked out the kinks of that, they were kind of in control. Marshall in Athens, we just can't. They were out of control.
Yeah,
it was just an ugly game. What were your thoughts on those games?
I mean, it's kind of hard to tell because you have one team, WVU, who was clearly, a dominant team to a FCS opponent, and then you have Marshall, who was clearly outclassed by FBS opponent. So it's one of them situations in which I don't really know what you have right now. So I think it's going to be like once you get into league play or once you get to opponents who are you kind of on your same level, if you will, then you'll be able to kind of see what it is. Because even to the point where like Marshall, they beat Notre Dame a couple years ago. They played all the way up, and then once they got the conference, you really kind of saw who they were. True. So even a loss or a win at that higher level, I don't really know if it tells you anything. Okay. So I didn't really get much out of this.
And a lot of times in the first week, you got quote money games.
Oh, for sure.
That's
what Marshall's was for sure.
Marshall's definitely was a money game.
They both were in money games. WV was paying Marshall to receive.
For sure.
And I think the coach understands that how this game is going to go. Now, is there a chance that you can win the game? Yes, but if you're not taking that game if you don't have the money.
Yeah.
Well, and Marshall, in all fairness to them, I mean, I totally agree. We don't know what they'll look like in conference play, either team.
Yeah, they lost their whole team.
But they lost their whole team, and they have a brand new coaching staff, and they walk into the Lions' Den first game. I mean, that's a tough thing. And most teams couldn't hang with Georgia.
And that's the thing. I watched Saturday. I literally watched football from noon to midnight, and I watched Southern Miss. So I got to see. I got to see Marshall.
Yeah,
they're at Southern Miss now. So
I said I'm surprised they weren't wearing green and white on the field.
So they might as well just had a little green on. So I got to see them a little bit, but I don't know what we got. But like I said, outside of those 2 games, there were some huge games. We had Texas and Ohio State. Arch Manning, he looked very uncomfortable for 3 of the 4 quarters. Very uncomfortable.
Yes.
Again, I'll say the same thing. You don't know what you really have. I think, that first game jitters. They're playing in the big house. Well, they're playing Ohio State. And, I think he's going to be good later, but he definitely looked a little shaky.
And you know what everybody's going to do is everybody's going to press him. Everybody's going to come in, attack him, blitz him, make him uncomfortable.
It's already happening.
Yeah. Because if he has a chance to be great, we're not going to give it to you on our watch.
Yeah.
We're going to make you as uncomfortable as we possibly can. And then once you see that on film of how you responded to that, oh, we're definitely going to do that.
Yeah, but I think he'll be better. I think because he's going to watch the film too. His highlight was he had about 10 commercials.
Yeah, NIL was the force was strong there, wasn't it?
Now let me say something about that.
Yeah.
Okay, here's my problem with a player having a commercial during a game that he's playing.
Yeah.
I just don't see how that's because
ethical.
It just doesn't seem right to me.
How?
It is
how
what it is.
Good?
I mean,
Coaches got commercials during the game.
I guess I'm too old school to think that that's something that's okay. And I don't want to change the subject, but I just I just don't see the idea.
Do we see that typically in college football, though? I mean,
I seen it a lot last year.
Okay,
but it's all because of NIL.
For some reason, maybe because of the so many of them. Maybe that's why it kind of caught my attention this time. But I don't remember as many last year.
I think I want to say Jaden, well, not last year, maybe the year before is when I started to see. I want to say like Jaden Daniels had like a Powerade commercial.
Okay, yeah.
So I've started to see him, but I think this is going to be the norm. I mean, because this is when you're going to sell the products. So if you're looking for your return on investment, I want to have the commercial when the kid's playing, when the eyes are watching.
And now that they have that cap, that's the way the players are going to make most of their money.
And I like this better. To me, I like this better than just some collective just paying guys.
Yeah.
Like at the very least, this is a true NIL. If I'm going to promote products and use my name, image, and likeness,
I like it.
So I don't mind it at all.
See,
I don't like it during the same game they're playing. I don't like that part.
That's
but
how
then
you gonna
again,
sell.
that's how. I mean, the fans of the players are going to be watching their
That's
games.
where you're going to get the most watches.
Because I think if you have an NIL, even at West Virginia, how it's set up, if I'm a company and if I got some superstar athlete that I'm trying to promote, or I have him in my shirt or my clothes, I'm going to have the commercial when they're playing.
Yes,
I want that spot. So the people who are watching, that's so and so. He's playing in the game. Let me go buy.
Yeah.
What
do you guys think about FSU upsetting Alabama?
Man,
those fans, they're big mad.
Yeah.
They're big mad. I seen some videos that were pretty hilarious on social media about how the fans are reacting.
Yeah, I think it's big for Florida State. I love the parody of college football. To me, that's why I like this weekend of college football, because it really showed parody. We don't necessarily know who's going to be good. We don't know who's going to be bad. There was upsets. Army got, it's all these upsets and all these things happening. So it really sets it up for these next 12 or so weeks to say, we really get to watch this soap opera play out.
Let me ask this question to both of you all to be a potential positive response on NIL. Do you think this structure is based off of NIL and why these games are so close and teams are upsetting other teams? Is it because of NIL, or do you think it's just
of it?
Is it just in spite of it?
I don't think it has anything to do with NIL. I think, I ain't gonna say that. Let me take that back. I think it has to do with just the transfer portal. Because if you're for example, even if you're Coach Belichick, you're coaching the Tar Heels. Back in the day, he would have had the if he had a 70-man roster, 80-man roster, he probably would have had 70 players from the year before. So he could have went back, watched the tape of all those guys, see exactly what they had, and he would have been able to implement a plan moving forward to capitalize on their strengths and weaknesses. But now you got 40 guys coming in from 40 different places, so it's hard to and to your point, NIL may have something to do that if I can get a better deal here or there. So,
and did they implement the rule this year with the cap of NIL, the $20 million for each school? Was it 20 or 25 million?
I think that's from what I understand. I don't know if that's going to be implemented this year or next year.
Okay, because I was thinking maybe that could make a difference in what we're seeing. I was pleasantly shocked to see the upsets and the games being as close as they were, because we're all used to seeing the SEC teams just come in and dominate.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that way this weekend. So, I'm kind of, optimistic. I could say that maybe this season it won't be as, divided into the haves and the have-nots.
Yeah, and I like it that way. Everybody, if you talk to anybody in the South, of course they want the SEC to dominate. I don't like that. I don't like when you have one conference just running through everybody. I like when the ACC is good and
Big 12.
Big 12. I like when, we don't know who's going to come out of what. I want to see a good mix in the playoffs. So 12 teams? So if you have 12 teams, I want to see them spread out among conferences, outside of the 4 champions.
All right, so I'm gonna ask this question to both of you and see if you think this would be, to get to what I think you want. What if NIL was, let's say, capped at just a random number, $1 million? So every team has $1 million they can spend on NIL.
I think that's the way it's going to be moved.
That's the way it's going to be.
Yeah. It's going to be moved.
Do you think that in its own right can help balance out the team?
I don't think NIL's the issue. The issue is the movement, the transferring of the players.
But I'm transferring because I'm getting more money.
You may or you may not be, right? So I think, but even if you can only, if you had allowed one transfer or something today, I was watching something online. This kid, this quarterback, he'd been to 6 different schools.
See, that makes no sense.
So I think it's the movement that hurts the continuity, because to your point, and I'm kind of contradicting myself, but it's a good thing and a bad thing, because now
they need to limit it.
But now Alabama doesn't get to stock up players. They have to work to get them. They got to work to get them. So now if I'm that third string running back and I may be getting 2, 3, 4 touches a game, I can go to the next school at the same level. I ain't got to go down. I can go to LSU. I can go to Michigan State. I can go somewhere else. And
but it can also work against a team, you know what I mean, in combination with the NIL. Because we've talked about this. The Marshall team in the 90s with Chad Pennington and Randy Moss, that would have never existed in this day and age of transfer portal combined with NIL. It can be a good and it can be negative.
And see, and I don't, and to that point, Lisa, I don't think that's a good thing. Because those guys ended up, well, at least for sure, Randy dropped into Marshall, right? And now he drops there because of Coach Pruitt. Now the question is, if that's today,
he wouldn't.
Does Coach Pruitt have the funds to attract him?
Yeah.
And I'm going to say no.
Yeah, what other games do we have?
Let's see. So there was FSU upset. Oh, let's talk about Bill Belichick.
Man.
And the UNC against TCU. So tell us what your thoughts were.
I'm going on record to say it. I think he's, and this is going to be blasphemy, he's an overrated coach. I think, again, and that's unbelievable to say about a 7-time Super Bowl champion. But I think if you look at Bill Belichick's record outside of Bill Parcells and outside of Tom Brady, he's average and mediocre at best as a coach. And I don't see a situation in which, again, it's a little disadvantage in my eyes where you have basically a whole new team because of the transfer and all that. But I don't see a situation in which the Tar Heels are going to be good this year, and I think he's going to be gone in 2 to 3 years. That's my bold prediction.
You think so?
I think so.
Write it down.
I don't think he's. I think, again, outside of Bill Parcells and Tom Brady, he's not a good. He's a average head coach.
And it could be that TCU's that good. I mean, TCU's been good for a while, so we may be seeing something that maybe some previews of championships at the conference levels. But UNC, I mean, it's like you said, it's way too early. You can't really say whether or not UNC is going to be good or not good, and same for TCU. But TCU looked pretty strong.
They did.
They dominated.
But I don't know how good UNC. Again, you can't tell anything, So we'll see.
So now I'm going to pose this question back at you, Hollis. Mm-hmm. So is it the coach? Is it the team?
No, it's the coach. Now, I strongly, the more I've watched football, I ain't even saying football, the more I watch team sports, even individual sports, you take wrestlers or MMA guys can go from one level to the next with a trainer or whatever. I think it has a lot to do with coaching. Coaching is everything, particularly at a collegiate level. If the better your coach is, the better your team is going to be. If you drop off Nick Saban right now in North Carolina, they might lose a couple coming out because he has to adjust. I'm talking about if you drop him off today, and by week 6, they're going to be looking like a championship team. I think it has to do with, we've just seen it too much. Coaches go and coaches win everywhere.
I don't see, okay, I'm going to agree in part with you, but who could possibly have ever stepped into Nick Saban's job?
I'm just
I know.
example.
No, but I'm just saying, who would be? I would never take that job. Not that they would ever offer it, but I'm just saying. But you know what I'm saying? Right after Nick Saban, I know you talking about the money.
You taking that job? he got $10 million a year. Yeah, sign me up, bro. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and get the staff together.
but
What
guys,
time my flight
what
leave?
kind of
What time my flight leave?
I mean, that's big shoes to
Yeah,
fill.
but somebody got to do it. But I'm just saying.
Do you think that they have the? Do you think Alabama within the next couple of years will be back to where they?
No, because I think what that coach stepped into, not only, again, we talked about it just previously, he stepped not only into Nick Saban's shoes, but he also stepped into the transfer portal. So again, I think that's why Nick Saban would probably be coaching right now, but not for that, because you don't get to stack talent.
So in all fairness, should Alabama had even been ranked at number 8 to start the season?
Fair. I mean, they were pretty decent last year. It's Alabama, so they're still working on the cash.
All right. I mean, I'm just taking into effect everything else.
All right. Let's switch gears and let's come down a little bit. Let's come a little bit more local. Coach Mays was hoping to get on tonight, but I don't think he had football practice, so we can excuse him for that. But I'm curious about one of the things I wanted to
let's
ask.
set it up. South Charleston. Yeah.
Okay, so South Charleston has come back to a coach.
Well, hold up. They got their first win.
They got their first win against
3 seasons.
3 seasons.
So I think it's like 1,000 some days they got their first win.
Okay, and it was against Ripley.
Yeah.
And
on a Hail Mary.
Yes, and a Hail Mary.
Oh, that was exciting.
Yes. I'm wondering, okay, all the respect for Coach Mays as the coach and stepping into the first game, winning his first game back at South Charleston. My question is, going forward, do you think that South Charleston is going to be able to be the South Charleston that we kind of have remembered with Coach Mays? Can he rebuild this and become the old South Charleston?
You mean like this season?
I'm asking how long will that take?
I think you give him a couple seasons, even next season. I think he can. I think just to expect it this season, that'd be lofty. But I think they're already over the hump, winning that game. Because when you go, I mean, some of these kids, this is their first win in high school.
Yeah.
And they've been at the program for 2 and 3 years. So I think that, not only was this a good win, I'm elated for the kids. I'm elated for the community. I represent a part of that community. So this is just a big thing that we can, you can get that monkey off your back and you can, start to move forward. So I think that he and his staff and the kids, they'll be able to bring this thing back, because like I said, winning begets winning, and with our transfer rules here, within the state of West Virginia, those kids coming out of South Charleston and Dunbar, they have the freedom to go where they want. But I think if they see some progress moving at the high school, they'll be more apt to stay local as opposed to transferring out.
I think some of the kids that he has touched in Putnam County, may come because they like how he coaches, his style, and they already know all of that. So you could also get that, which could be
next year.
Could be maybe this year already. I don't really know yet.
Yeah, man. I'm elated, and it's like I said, you not only do you win your first game in about 2-3 seasons, but you win it on a Hail Mary. You know what I mean? So it's just like we talked about drama this weekend. That's like drama on drama. So.
Well, and he
high school drama.
He had mentioned to me earlier that he's not the offensive coordinator, so he's not. I don't think he's being the offensive coordinator anymore. I think he's passing that on and being, quote, what you would call the true head coach. Yeah. Which I think what my guess is, why he's doing that is he wants to actually be the leader of that team and not necessarily have to do the offense or do the defense, special teams or whatever, but be the leader of that team and pump that group up and maybe and he may be able to do that. And
I personally, I just, just like I said, my role, I'm not, obviously I'm not coaching anymore, but I get to see, I have conversations at a different level with a lot of the coaches around here, and I just don't see how you would be a head coach and call plays or call defense, just because I understand now administratively sort of what it takes to even run a good high school program. It's not cheap to do. You got to fundraise, you got to manage personalities, you managing not only the players, you're managing your coaching staff, you got to deal with grades in the school and blah,
People
blah, blah, blah.
have no idea
what it involves.
What it takes.
Yeah.
It's to coach football, period. Coach sports, period.
But I think football is a different beast.
I think it is too.
Yeah.
I think it is. With the number of players that you have.
The number of coaches.
That you have. Managing the coaches, managing the team, all of that. That's a tough deal.
And it's a reason why like football leagues fold, like all the ones who try to not necessarily compete with the NFL, but try to be professional organizations, because it takes so much. Because football, you can't. This ain't like basketball, but you can't go out there with 2-3 dudes.
No,
you got to have at least 6, maybe 10 dudes to help you like do this thing.
Yes. And trainers and all that.
Yeah, and trainers and
And going back to your point, Hollis, about coaches are one of the most, if not the most important part of a winning team.
Yeah.
Donnie has a history of it.
Yeah, for sure.
he won at South Charleston. He left. He went to Hurricane, and they were he was successful there. I think he was like 27-10.
Yeah.
While he was there for those 3 years, and now he's back and. He's got a way with the kids.
Yeah, and coaching matters. You can't understate it. It doesn't. People don't. It's like they blame the coach, but they don't also give the coach enough credit. Even to it's like I was talking crap about Bill Belichick. He's a part of those 7 champions. If he's not there, they don't win 7 rings. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm not trying to discount that, but like if you got the right mix of players and the right timing, a good coach can really elevate that thing.
Can propel it.
So yeah.
How quick do you think this South Charleston change will come?
I think if you give them another year, like a year, I think next year they'll find themselves in the playoffs, depending, because I know they're still a fairly young team. I think this year, to me, like I said, you kind of already won because you won a game. I know that sounds that sounds petty, but I mean, I think you get 5 wins this season. That's a
good year.
Very good year, and they could probably get at least, I would say anywhere from 3 to 5,
And to your point, the players who have been sitting there going year after year after year and hadn't seen a victory, and all of a sudden you see one at the last second of the game. All of a sudden now you're thinking
you're believing in yourself.
You're believing in yourself. And I'll say this, and Hollis, you know this, and Lisa, you probably know this as well. The confidence that you have in yourself
is everything.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, and you have to have something positive in order for you to
100%.
to think that you are something.
And shout out to the kids who stayed. Bosley, he's Xavier Bosley's little brother. Xavier Bosley plays offensive line for WVU, and his little brother's at I can't even really call him. He's bigger than me, but he's at South Charleston. He's been there since he's a pup. He never considered leaving. He hasn't won a game. I think this is going to his 3rd year.
And that shout out to them.
Shout out to the parents for not leaving. Because I know it's tempting. Because you can go to Nitro. They're doing good.
They're good.
So it's other programs you can go to in close proximity. So I just, like I said, this was not on.
The kids that stuck it out. It's really something.
Stuck it out, man. And this is a big win for the community.
And I just truly don't think that leaving a school that all your friends are there, you're familiar with everything, because of a sport, you want to leave and go somewhere else. I just don't know how to even fathom that in my head. Maybe because I'm so old that would never.
It's a whole different generation.
It's a whole different process now.
I'm sorry. You go. I was just going to say they have social media. They have these. They have cell phones. They don't need to see each other in person. That they see each other all the time. Probably more than we did with our friends in school.
Yeah.
But I will say, to your point, for those kids who been there, like think of a senior who's won maybe one game and then won this one.
Unbelievable.
Just to say, like, dang, we had one for 3 seasons, now we won. They'll have that story and they'll have that camaraderie. Even if this season they don't make the playoffs, they'll have that thing like we did this. And, you know, we was able to overcome, and we went from 30-0, whatever, 0-30 to now we maybe won 2, 3, 4, 5 games. So they'll have that.
I love just hearing you talk about that. I was like over here just thinking like, man, I understand exactly what you're talking about. Like, you won a game. We won a game. And we may not win anything else, but man, we got that one and we were close in that one. Yeah. If you have that kind of mindset, man,
you'll have those memories.
Yeah, you'll have those memories.
Especially those seniors. Yes. Those are the ones that I really feel
like
it
I
for.
said, my hat's off to those seniors.
I hope they win some more, man. I would love to see us go to the playoffs this year.
I do too. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed the show, and we're going to get out of here. We will see you again next week.
Let's Talk with Carl Lee is presented by attorney Frank Walker and the all-new historic Coyer Diner. Come in on episodes, ask the crew questions, or suggest topics on our Facebook page. Search for Let's Talk with Carl Lee, and remember to like the page to become part of the conversation. Subscribe by searching Let's Talk with Carl Lee on your favorite podcast service, and tune in Thursday evenings at 7 or Sunday nights at 8 for Let's Talk with Carl Lee.
If you fall, dust it off and get back up on your feet. Anything could be a win, yup, even defeat. They say sugar bad for you, why is victory sweet? Couldn't play with big kids, I had to sit in the street and watch from a distance, but over time I grew. If I put in the work, in no time I'm due. Everything that I worked and prayed, I'm okay. If you ask me, how did I do it, I'm gon' say, you gotta work, grind, shine, it's mine. Gotta show everybody it's my time. Getting here, you gotta work, grind, shine. Never mind who talking down, cause they lying. Don't talk, you gotta work. 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 You gotta work.